For this edition of the KTM Summer Grill at speedcafe.com, we thought we'd make it a bit of a family affair, maybe look at some New Year's resolutions with a couple of blokes who are doing some racing stateside. Hunter McElrea, Andy McElrea, welcome to you both.
Thanks.
Belated Happy New Year. What a season 2022 was for you in many ways. Now that you've made the break from home on the Gold Coast, gone to the US to live in the big smoke, how's all that going?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. It doesn't feel like it, but it's my fourth year this year over there. So not exactly new to it anymore, I would say, but it doesn't feel like it was that long ago where I just went over there. So in some ways it feels like it went by really fast, but in other ways it feels like I've been there for a while now. So I'm enjoying it, and yeah, it's not going too bad.
How hard was that, we hate bringing it up, but how hard was that COVID period for both of you and for Mel and for your brother and so on? I mean, you couldn't easily get to each other, and it was...
Yeah, it was interesting. Obviously, here in Australia, everything just stopped. The handbrake went on hard. So in beginning of April 2020, so I sat around hoping things would pick up for our racing here in Australia, and it didn't. So in June, I decided to go. In the US, they got racing again under Penske's leadership with IndyCar. So I decided I went to the US to hang out with him and give him a bit of support. So I was up there for 3 months at the end of 2020 just to help out, and there was nothing going on here. So that was for me personally fun. And he was having a rough season, so it was good that I was there for some of it, but also, it was pretty crippling business-wise.
Well, that leads me to the dynamic, because you're trying to do things for back here by remote control, and at the same time help your son, and your son's at an age where he's kind of needing and loving that support, but wanting to walk your own road too, mate. What's all that?
Yeah, it was a weird year, to be honest. Obviously for everyone it was really weird, but I remember obviously when it hit, we were in the middle of a race weekend, and it was like we did practice, and then it was like COVID's kind of happening, and then I remember looking at the Grand Prix in Australia got cancelled, and that's when I remember when I saw it. I think it was like McLaren pulled out, and a big F1 team pulled out. And that was the first time I thought, like, okay, this is serious. And then the race weekend stopped. Everyone packed up their stuff, and we sat at home and did nothing for a long, long time. And that was, obviously, everyone did the COVID stuff and the simulator stuff and all that. And at first, it was kind of like a novelty, you didn't know what was going to come of it. It was kind of just like, oh, everyone's kind of doing nothing. And at first, it was just, I remember just being weird, just did nothing. And I was in America with the team I was racing with at the time. I was living with them too, and they're our second family to me. So I had a good support system there, but at the same time, you're not with your own family. So I remember feeling kind of trapped and confused of what the future had. And we didn't get racing again, unlike Australia and New Zealand at the time. And like he said, he came over, and yeah, it was a bit of a tough year, kind of by my standards, I would say. We still got podiums and wins, but it was good to have him there at times, and particularly where traveling wasn't really the easiest. So yeah, don't miss the quarantine and things like that. So thankfully things are a bit more easy these days.
How much has American life changed you or changed him? Has it?
Funny, a lot of our mates think his accent's changed already, which is a bit of a worry.
Yeah, that honestly is the worst thing to hear. I get that a lot. Some people think I sound over there, like, I think when new people meet me, they think I have an accent. I hope I don't sound American without being offensive to the Americans. It's just, you don't want to lose your roots.
But by the same token, you can talk to a Chad Reed or even my buddy Lee Diffie, and they talked about, but they even certain words, they know that zero or O, and this thing you do a little bit of stuff.
When you're at Subway, you got to order tomato.
Yeah. You do it that.
I don't know what talk about.
Like when I order a coffee at Starbucks, if I say Hunter, you say Hunter, like they literally won't understand you. So I guess stuff like that, you got to adapt to your surroundings, right? But I feel like honestly, when I do come home and you're around the accent, it probably comes out a bit more again. So yeah, it's funny. Some people think I do sound American, which is interesting.
Let's talk 2022. Let's get a report card from both of you. You're about to embark on some great things this year in the United States, where he already is based. Again, another successful year for you guys. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks. Yeah, it was awesome. Like, it was during this whole COVID bollocks that we've all been through. It was like, it would be nice to get back to racing, but also winning. and having, race team's only as good as its last championship. So everyone in our team was absolutely desperate, right? Everybody that works in the team and the officers that don't come to the track do come to the track. We were hungry as hell to win it, and so we were really the Carrera Cup Championship, that is. And Harry got it done for us. So it was really, really pleasing to kind of, life seems to be split in two parts, pre-COVID and post-COVID, and so to be winning a championship again post-COVID was really good. And then to back that up, Brett Bolton, one of our Pro-Ams in this Michelin Sprint Challenge, won the Pro-Am division of that. So that's 2 proper championships in 1 year, which is really, really cool. Plus my plans for the US have been bubbling away in the background. So it's been a busy year, but it's been a really, really, really cool year. And, with Numbnuts having some success as well, it's, I can't complain too much.
Tell us about that success.
That's his nice nickname. Okay. Other nicknames are usually said, so, that's the PG version, but we'll leave it.
Lots of great stuff out of 22 on balance for you to take away, mate. I mean, great speed when you first started. I know you were a bit miffed about certain things, but lots of very good positives to take into this year.
Yeah, it was a good year. I think for sure being at the Indy Lights level was a big step up a lot of ways.
How big? How much?
Just kind of in every way, almost. Obviously driving for Andretti, it's a big deal, and just everything is more. We do things in a lot more professional way than maybe the level before, just as it should be. Then you're just close. You're close to the top. You know what I mean? So obviously the cars are very fast. Instead of doing maybe 250k an hour, you're doing 300. Just things like that. It's just you're going fast, and the competition. The way I see it is to win in Indy Lights. I mean, and it shows in the past, right? Like to win Indy Lights, you have to be at a level to where you can go in IndyCar and be right there. So you're basically racing the best guys you ever have, and it's just a step up in every way, right? So it was almost the unknown of how I was going to go. I believed I had, I earned the shot, and obviously started off, put it on pole and debut by a long way, and that was like, oh, it's going to be an easy year, great. And then obviously crashed in the lead, and that kind of screwed my first half of the year up a bit, kind of mentally trying to recover from that, and then trying too hard and trying to find like your mental happy medium, honestly. And this, it's kind of easy said than done. It was just more of kind of getting back on the horse, and even races, I got the podium pretty quick after, but even still, I wasn't quite driving it at my maximum. I was a bit underdone, a bit overdone, trying to find that kind of just getting the confidence back, and results bring that. At the end of the day, it's a big confidence game, racing, especially when you're driving. So kind of just getting a bit of confidence back. And I actually talked to Murph before I talked to a lot of people, to be honest, and everyone said the same thing, but I was talking to Murph. He's like, just go and have fun, and before mid or higher, and then ended up winning that pretty convincingly in the second half of the year. Dominated more than anyone else. So I wouldn't say dominated, to be honest, because it was close, but I did win the most races and score the most points in the second half of the year. So it puts us in a good position leading into next year, obviously, with a renewed deal with them for lights, with Andretti, that is. And testing's been really strong too. So obviously no points of prize in testing, but I feel like we're in a good spot heading into next year, and excited to get it rolling when St. Pete comes by.
Talked about Murph. I asked your dad for a little Cheerio vid for Greg Murphy's milestone birthday last year. So in last August, I reached out to him, and I get this video back that is Andy walking around Mooresville.
I've seen this video, and he was wearing the same shirt he was at 3 a.m. in Nashville the night before.
Okay.
So if you had a breathalyzer on the bloke, it wouldn't be too good.
Well, so I wasn't surprised that you were there, because I thought you were naturally supporting Hunter. Now what we learn, of course, is there's a bit of fact-finding mission in all of that. When did this mission start? When did you get the idea that you wanted to do this and really start to put things into motion?
It was a few years ago. I thought this is a concept that could work, but I figured I'll wait to see if old mate is likely to have a career up there. Because if he's not, and he's going to end up back here or whatever, then there's no real point in me having a business that's so far away. But if he did look like he's going to have a career up there for the next 10, 20 years, makes sense to have a dual purpose for going there. Plus, obviously, commercially, there are enormous opportunities up there. So the idea sat in the back of my head for a couple of years, and then one of the things that happened was America finally adopted proper Carrera Cup rules. In the past, it's been Sprint Challenge, so they've had different gearboxes and different tyres and things like that. So now it's completely identical to what we do here. And then Troy Bundy, who has been the boss of Porsche Motorsport in Australia here for a number of years, he moved over there and said, hey, you know, have you thought about this? And I said, yeah, I have, and I just needed a push in the right direction. And so Troy's been very helpful with information on how it all works up there. So, yeah, I guess I probably made the decision in the middle of last year, June and July, and then just slowly started putting the pieces together. So, yeah, that's where it started.
So now give the audience a snapshot of what things look like. We know a driver that you're taking over there for that. Where's the team based, and how much time were you split between the two countries, and so on?
So it's the team is based. We actually have rented a large area in a workshop in Statesville, which is about 15 minutes north of Mooresville, North Carolina. So we're right in US racing heartland. So we've got a really nice workshop. Obviously, the weather's really extreme up there. So and the workshop's heated for winter because it's snowing, and then it's stinking hot in summer, so it's air conditioned as well. So it's a really, really great facility that we're working from. David Gagan, my crew chief up there, he started full time on the 1st of November. So he's been putting everything together the last few months, and we've got a transporter organised. All the most of the equipment's been bought or ordered. So everything's coming together really nicely. And as most people will probably know, young Tom Sargent, the Michelin Sprint Challenge champion from last year, is our first driver signed, and we are in the next few days going to sign a young French-Canadian driver as well. So we'll have two young pros, which will be great because they obviously push each other along. So yeah, that's the broad brushstrokes on how it's going to look.
So while he's doing that, your mission is 23 Indy NXT title. How difficult is that mission? What are you got to do in terms of how you approach this?
For sure. I mean,
stop crashing into walls.
But I mean, you got through that. The back end of clearly the back end of the year was great. That's a fantastic foundation to launch from into 23.
For sure. I mean, I think the Indy Lights car, particularly, or Indy NXT as it's known now, Indy Next, it's on the old tire, which was the Cooper tire. We're running a Firestone this year. It's changing, but on the old tire, the Cooper tire, you really could, not many open wheels, and you see an IndyCar, you hustle it a lot, right? So it's still going to have that DNA, but on the Cooper tire, you could really find time. Kind of the only open wheeler I've driven where you actually go faster being sideways over the limit. So it almost was, the more you could go over the limit and not crash, the faster you went. So at the start of the year, it was floating with that a bit, and honestly went too far a few times, which is what he was alluding to. But and the Dallara bills are not pretty, so wouldn't recommend that for anyone that wants to be racing in the NXT in the future. The Dallara bills are the front wing is quite expensive. You got a nice holiday for a Dallara front wing, but no, I think, to be honest, at the start of the year, just finding that limit of, I like to drive aggressively, so I kind of felt straight away, oh, this is good, and then kept going faster, crash. So finding that limit was a bit of the start of the year's loading. But you know what they say, you've got to crack, as much as you don't like to crash, race car driver, you got to crack a few eggs to make an omelette. So learn from it, which is the main thing. And yeah, like you said, focusing on the title next year, or this year, I should say, in 23, is exciting. Obviously the things that come with that, and the opportunities that may lead to, obviously, in the big show in IndyCar, which is obviously what I've been working for a long time. And everything's there, right? All the ingredients are there. So just excited to go execute that, and I'll just do my best. At the end of the day, that's all you can do. And just all I really care about is if I can really deliver to the best of my ability and be proud of that, and see whatever that brings.
Might be worth breaking it down for the viewers and the readers of speedcafe.com about prize money structure in your series, and naturally your want in 24 hopefully is to join the Powers, Dixons, McLaughlins on the grid in the IndyCar.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I've been on the road to Indy now for 4 years, so after I won the Australian Formula 4 Championship in 18, being in the USA 2000, Indy Pro 2000, and obviously now, which was known as Indy Lights, now Indy Next. So been an apprentice for a long time now and still am one, I guess you could say, in those sort of terms. But it's not like something I've just woke up yesterday and decided to do. It's been something I've been pushing for a long time, and you start to see light at the end of the tunnel. It's close, but obviously there's still a lot of work to be done. So, it's great. Like you said, the prize money, there's legit prize money, and you win a race, you get $20,000 US. So it helps. You still spend $100,000 a weekend to win 20. So it's not like you're making money doing it off prize money, but it definitely legitimizes it a little bit. Truthfully, there was a little bit of a problem this year, or in 22, there was a problem with the prize money where they actually only gave $500,000 for the winner, where it previously was well over $1 million. So hopefully that gets squared away for this year's championship prize. But no, to be honest, I don't really know anywhere else in the world that has that sort of prize, or I guess you could say carrot, to where, you win this championship and you have a legitimate shot and pretty much, looking at history, every champion graduates and goes on pretty much straight away to a really good seat. So that's the plan. So been working for a long time now, and it's close, but like I said, still got a lot of hard work to do.
The word we used was graduate then. What makes Harry Jones so special, and where's he going to go? Where's he going to end up, do you think?
Really, really good question. And it's kind of ironic that Harry and Hunter raced against each other in Formula Fords in 17 and 18. So that was kind of neat. That's where I got to meet Harry's family, lovely people. And Harry went to the shootout last year, so that's our fourth driver to go there. Not sure of the results at this stage, but Harry's a standout. Like, he is a very, very smart racer. And that's how he won the championship last year, by being smart, knowing when to hold him, when to fold him, when to just sit in place, and then when to charge. And that's how he got the championship done. So yeah, it was he thoroughly deserved it.
Cool. Couple to finish here. Can you give us a snapshot of drivers in your lineup in Australia for 23?
Yeah. So the Carrera Cup team, we've got our perennial Pro-Am Tim Mops coming back. He's going to have another crack at the Pro-Am Championship, and he's been working hard. We've got a very good pre-season test program planned, so he'll benefit well from that. So Tim's back. Christian Pancioni, Jackson Walls, and Bailey Hall are all back in Carrera Cup, which is neat. There's good continuity with our crews, engineers, and so forth. We're expanding a bit on the engineering back end side a little bit as well, because part of the expansion to the US is to help make both of those teams stronger, not weaker, and not thin things out. So that's going to be a much better resource next year. And in Sprint Challenge, we've got our two Pro-Ams, Richard Cowan and Brett Bolton, both businessmen from Brisbane, both ripper blokes. And then we've got three exciting young kids. So Lockie Bloxham and Tommy McLennan, they're both back. And then we've got a new exciting young kid called Caleb Summich from WA. So
Full lineup, right? Full lineup, right? Full lineup.
I remember 9 people. Still not bad for me.
Yeah, well, while we're talking drivers, a new teammate within the fold. I got to when we went to the Singapore Grand Prix last September, see Jamie Chadwick in action with the W Series. How's she fitting in?
Yeah, she's really cool, honestly. I truthfully, I didn't know what to expect. Obviously, she's very well known from the W Series, and she's clearly, in terms of female drivers right now, she's clearly a standout, right? So, and I don't look at her any differently, obviously, because she's female. I just look at her like another driver, and it's a big. She kind of said, like, when she first got in the Indy Next car, it's a lot quicker than what she was used to, and a lot more physical than what she was used to. But we've had, I think, 3 tests now, and she's really applied herself well, and she's legit. She's legit, really, really strong. And I think the tracks where typically, or especially where we'll probably be able to test at, and she'll be able to come back to, say, instead of rolling up to St. Pete or Nashville or Detroit, where it's a street track at half an hour, that's going to be tough, because learning all that and trying to be that guy's
Been straight up to speed.
Yeah, whereas maybe we go to test at Road America and then she races there. I really think I don't see why she couldn't be fighting for podiums. She's quite strong, and really, really nice person too. You know, down to earth. Probably out of the 4 teammates we have in Andretti this year, she's probably the most relaxed out of all of us. So I'd probably say something. But she's really cool chick, and yeah, she's legit talent too. So looking forward to working with her, and yeah, should be a good year.
Go hard, go get him in 2023. We hope it's a great year for
Thanks,
you,
mate.
mate.
Appreciate it.
And make sure he stays off too much of the American food. He's got a very big...
Yeah, you can tell me. He's me.
I'm gonna stay off the bread in the new year. I think that'll do it.
Yeah, and
If all the beer's doing that, if it's the bread.
we wish you well, mate. I mean, it's a massive undertaking that you're doing. You've been hugely successful here in Australia. We hope it's every bit as successful stateside.
Yeah, thanks, Russ. I appreciate it.
There he is, Andy McElrea, along with his son, Hunter McElrea, on the road to Indy, as we said. That's another edition of the KTM Summer Grill, wrapped up here at speedcafe.com. Check in tomorrow to see which guest from the world of motorsport joins us then. As a part of this year's Summer Grill, our great partner in KTM each week has a special prize pack to give away, which includes a stool, a stubby holder, and a KTM hat. Very cool additions for your man cave, your garage, or just for around the barbecue. To enter, all you've got to do is head to speedcafe.com or click on the link description below, and you could be in the running. And check out, of course, tomorrow's next edition of the KTM Summer Grill right here at speedcafe.com.